In a transfer window where stars are forcing exits, where clubs are throwing millions to chase the next big signing, there's another story, a quieter one. The story of the forgotten, the unwanted, players who once lit up stadiums but now can't even find a place to call home. This is football's unwanted angst, and it begins between the posts. Andre Onana. Where do we even start? Andre Onana. A man who divides opinion even when he's not playing. Behind the scenes, United dream of Donnarumma. They flirt with Emiliano Martinez. But none of that happens until Onana leaves. And here's the problem, nobody wants him. More than 148 goals. Conceded in just over 100 appearances. United still think they can squeeze $30 million out of him. But who's paying that for a keeper with this much baggage? At least he has a club. The next man? He's almost vanished from football altogether. Victor Lindelöf. Remember him? After 8 long years at Manchester United, Lindelöf simply disappeared. Reports say he's back training with Västerås SK, the Swedish side where it all began at 15. But they were relegated last season. Even they aren't sure he can make them stronger now. For a player once trusted in Europe's biggest nights, that's a hard fall. Jakub Kiwior. And then there's Jakub Kiwior, Arsenal's forgotten man. Once the go-to backup for Saliba or Gabriel, now pushed further down the ladder by 21-year-old Christian Mosquera. In Arsenal's opener against United, Mosquera sat on the bench. Kiwior, he didn't even make the squad. A player left in limbo, too good to waste but with no market to move him on. Alexander Zinchenko. For Zinchenko, the decline has been brutal. In 2022, he was the perfect Arteta signing. The inverted fullback, the extra midfielder. Now, he's giving interviews about being nothing without minutes. Those words hit hard, but instead of sparking a comeback, they've buried him further. Arsenal's left side is Calafiori's now, and maybe Miles Lewis-Skelly's in the future. Zinchenko feels like yesterday's news. Ben Chilwell. If time flies needed proof, it's Ben Chilwell. In 2021, he was starting in a Champions League final. 4 years later, he can't even make headlines. A loan to Palace, a cold shoulder from Maresca, and 0 clubs calling his name. He's stuck, unwanted, unnoticed, and uncertain. Yves Bissouma. At Spurs, Yves Bissouma's story is no better. New boss Thomas Frank has already lost patience, publicly slamming him for turning up late. Spurs want him gone. The problem? Nobody's interested in a midfielder who can't even show up on time. Hakim Ziyech. And then comes Hakim Ziyech, a magician, a Champions League winner. A streets will never forget. Legend of Ajax 2019. Yet here we are. He flopped at Galatasaray, was cut from Qatar after just 6 months, and now he has no club, no interest. A playmaker once destined for greatness, now frozen out of football's map. Tiemwe Bakayoko. If Ziyech is tragedy, Bakayoko is obscurity. A beast at Monaco in 2017. The reason Chelsea bought in. But since then, loan after loan. Milan, Monaco, Napoli, Lorient, PAOK, now unemployed, waiting for a call that may never come. Munir El-Haddadi. And what about Munir? Once labeled the Moroccan Neymar, it's been a decade since that hype. He's bounced from Valencia to Sevilla to Las Palmas, and finally Leganés, where they got relegated. At just 29, his career feels finished, a name destined to fade away. Vincent Aboubakar. At least Vincent Aboubakar gave us memories. The lob against Serbia, the winner against Brazil, a career of fire with Porto and Besiktas. But at 33, after Hatayspor, even he finds himself without a club. Unlike the rest, though, he leaves behind moments fans will never forget. Raheem Sterling. And then Raheem Sterling. This is the saddest fall of them all. Once one of Pep's untouchables, a winger who scored over 100 for City. When he moved to Chelsea, it was supposed to be his fresh start. Instead, it's been a nightmare. Loans, bench roles, and now officially unwanted by Maresca. Sterling, the man who owned City's left flank, is desperately searching for a way out. And that's the story of football's unwanted. Gully, from rising stars to forgotten names. From Champions League nights to training alone. Football moves fast, and sometimes it leaves players behind. If you love the game, hit like, subscribe, and stick with us because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about who signs, but about who's left behind.